Hey folks, Chris here, Big Show video. It is Saturday, May the 7th, 2016, and I am coming to you as I'm driving to my in-laws tonight for an early Mother's Day celebration. So I wanted to do a very quick review of Captain America Civil War. I believe it is the 12th in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I meant to have this out earlier, but it's been a busy weekend, so here we go. First of all, I usually, when I do a review, I do good, bad, and ugly, and I will have a longer version on this week's episode of The Big Show with Chris Moe. You can find that facebook.com/Big Show. Show is SHEAUX. I'll have a more in-depth review there, but this is just a brief review for those folks who maybe aren't comic fans and maybe you're just not sure if they're going to go see this movie or they want to know something going in. First of all, I do good, bad, and ugly, like I said, the good. Now, good means great, too, but I just follow good, bad, and ugly to keep it simple. The great, good stuff in this movie, of course, performances. Everybody we're used to already in these movies doing a great job at performance brings their A game and more. So, we've got, of course, Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., Sebastian Stan is the Winter Soldier, of course, and Bucky Barnes. We have got Scarlett Johansson. We've got a number of newcomers to the roles, or to this movie as well. We've got Paul Rudd returning, of course, as Scott Lang, Ant-Man. And then we've got two new guys that come in this time. We've got Tom Holland as the new Peter Parker Spider-Man, which you may have seen in the television previews. We've also got Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa and Black Panther, same guy. And, I knew nothing about either of these actors, and I was really, really impressed with their performances, especially Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther and T'Challa. This guy needs to be nominated for an Academy Award for his performance in this movie. And I know it's a superhero movie, but it's still a movie, and it's still a great performance. All of these guys, I think, deserve that kind of acclaim because it's heartbreaking stuff. So you've got Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa, the Black Panther. He's a superhero in Marvel history, the first African-American superhero in Marvel Comics, and I believe in the comics medium, period. And the idea is that there's a fictional African nation called Wakanda, and that happens to be the source, if you remember in Age of Ultron, that is the source of all of the vibranium, which Cap's shield is made from, as well as other things in the Marvel Universe. So vibranium, very important. And we meet T'Challa and his father, who is the king of Wakanda, T'Chaka. And they have a very important exchange here in this film, and very important to the storyline, so it's beautifully done. And I really think Chadwick Boseman just knocked it out of the park. Sebastian Stan, as Bucky and the Winter Soldier, does a phenomenal job with the role that he's given. It's very tortured. And then, Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, these guys are the heart of this movie, and it's of course called Captain America Civil War, so Chris Evans has to be the best, and he is. I really think that he is maybe giving the best performance as Cap that he's done in Steve Rogers in the entire history of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And there's here's the thing, kids, and this is the other good thing. Another thing under that good category is the narrative, the story, and the conflict. This is not a bunch of heroes or characters getting together just because that's going to make money. Let's throw these characters on the big screen and watch them fight. This is organic. It's if you go back, and I have, and watch Captain America First Avenger, and then you watch Avengers, there's been tension between all of these people since the beginning, because Marvel has always been about realistic heroes, and there's always been some kind of drama, going on between them. They all have their own agendas and outlooks, as we do in real life, right? And so that really plays out beautifully across the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and in Civil War, it all comes to a head. And without giving away any spoilers, of course, you've got big events that happened on the world stage in all of the other movies. So you had New York, you had Washington, D.C. in The Winter Soldier, you, of course, had what happened in Sokovia in Age of Ultron, which is really the biggest motivator in this movie for superhero registration. So, these guys getting together, it's fun to watch, and there's great humor, but it's also sad because you're thinking, I don't want to see these guys hurt each other. I don't want them to not be friends. I want them to get along because you care about them. Unlike Batman v Superman, which you have to bring up when you're talking about this movie, where they just kind of took a storyline called The Dark Knight Returns and said, yeah, I like that storyline. Let's have Superman and Batman disagree and hate each other just because they fought in The Dark Knight Returns. The difference is, of course, is that in The Dark Knight Returns, the fight came 30 years after they had been friends, right? So they'd been friends for 30 years, and then this fight came about. So in this movie, it all makes sense why they're fighting. It's all all organically flows from the narrative, from the story that's been laid since Iron Man, and it's just beautifully done. Fantastic writing, fantastic performances, special effects and action sequences. They will blow you away. New stuff you're going to see that you've never seen in a superhero movie before. Unbelievable stuff. There's a great sense of humor and a sense of fun, even though it is a dramatic storyline. As far as the comics that it's based on, the Civil War story that it's based on, what it does beautifully is it takes that central premise of some kind of conflict between the heroes and having to register with the government, giving up your secret identity to work for the government for the sake of safety, and it really brings in the rationale for all that from the previous Marvel movies. In other words, it's not like it's trying to shoehorn in the storyline that's in the comics, because that just wouldn't work, right? So phenomenally done there story-wise, and the everything else about it is good. I can't really. I'm trying to think of the bad. I usually do good, bad, and ugly. Bad. The only thing I would say is bad is that you've got to wait now for another 2 years to see what happens. We've had a cycle now where we had an Iron Man movie, then we had a Thor movie, Cap movie, Avengers. Then we went back and redid that: Iron Man, Thor, Cap, Avengers. So we kind of followed the threads, and we didn't have to wait too long. Now, though, we're going to have to wait 2 years to see the fallout of this movie. And that's the other beautiful thing about this, is that, like I said in my predictions video, this movie, the storyline kind of not resets the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but it as Winter Soldier did, it sets the stage for what's going to come for the next few years. And so it's going to be just, tremendous stuff that's coming in the next few years with this. So the only bad is that you've got to wait. Maybe that's the ugly. And I can't find anything ugly about this movie. So, my only hesitance, and it's really just kind of my issue, is that I wondered if Spider-Man needed to be in this movie. They handled all of the characters beautifully. You're adding Spider-Man and Black Panther. You already have all these other characters. Ant-Man makes an appearance, and you'd think, man, how do they all get enough time? But it's done so well that you don't really look at it and go, oh, this just feels too cluttered. And that is a testament to the writing, a testament to the directing, and the performances. So, guys, can't recommend Captain America Civil War enough. Even if you have never seen any other movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, this movie, again, I think is brilliant that they can do this 11 or so movies in. They've actually set it up to where you can watch this movie and you have everything you need to know in the movie to really enjoy it. So go check it out. Of course, it went into wide release yesterday, and I imagine it's going to have some tremendous staying power in theaters. So if you want to, wait until the crowds go down, that's fine. But I think it's well worth your time, well worth your money, and I will be giving it repeat viewing. Can't decide, kids, if I like it more than my personal favorite Marvel movie, which right now is Captain America, Winter Soldier, but we'll see. It may take that top spot, or it might be right alongside it. All right, kids, that's it. I will have a more in-depth review for you in audio form on this week's episode of The Big Show with Chris Moe. I'll go ahead and put a link for that right around here. Just click on that, and it'll take you to this week's episode of The Big Show with Chris Moe. Should be putting that up tonight or tomorrow at the very latest. Have a great rest of the weekend. Be sure you take care of your mom, treat her well, because she brought you into this world, man. Be sure you love her, and thanks so much for watching. Talk to you soon. Remember, leave the places you go and the people you meet better than they were when you found them.